What's up, YouTube? This is PZZEspian here. So, today, as you can see, I'm going to be showing you guys sort of how I went about making my new intro. Just kind of feel like it. I've been watching Shark Week today. It's actually the first time I've really ever watched Shark Week. And it's a little bit intense. I figure I might as well take a break. And thought I'd go ahead and make this video. So, let's go ahead and get into it. So, first of all, if you're wondering what program this is that I used to make it, believe it or not, it is ScreenFlow. I use ScreenFlow to make the entire thing, alright, the entire intro. So yeah, ScreenFlow and nothing else. I mean, obviously the little clips that I have in the corners here, you know, this was edited with Windows Movie Maker. All I did to get some of these video clips, where I got them, obviously, I just downloaded I went onto my YouTube channel and did the download MP4 thing, you know, in the video manager. There's a little option there called download MP4. Just lets you re-download the videos. So that's what I did to get the videos. So, you know, that basically Windows Movie Maker is probably the only other thing that I guess you could say I used, but, you know. Everything, all the effects and everything like that was done inside of ScreenFlow. So let's go ahead and let's hit this back button here, and we're going to skip to the beginning. Alright, now already I want to go ahead and touch on something, the music. The music that I used is some music that actually comes with iMovie. But you'll notice that I have a little bit of a split here, alright? You'll note that I actually combined the Collins Avenue Medium and the Collins Avenue Long. The reason why is because I like the start of Collins Avenue Medium. That right there. I liked that noise. I wanted to have that noise in there. But I found that Collins Avenue Medium was just a little bit too short. So what I decided to do was I decided to, you know, take basically after that noise and, you know, it'll go into the, you know, that thing. Which is also in the long version, which has a much longer intro, if that makes sense. So all I did was I just cut right there, and then I cut at the same spot in the long. And you see, the thing is that, you know, this part of the long actually is a little bit longer than that of the medium, if that makes sense. So there you go. I wanted it. You see, I wanted to have, like, you know, I have the Zippo, and then I have, you know, technology, and then other stuff. I wanted to have, you know, 3 different little things like that. And had I just stuck with a medium one, I would have only been able to use 2 of them. And I didn't want to just have Zippos and technology, because I do make a lot more videos than just on those things, as y'all know. So, anyways, that is that. So I wanted to go ahead and get into sort of how I went about doing these different effects. Let's go ahead and let's take a look at this. You'll see that that's a very weird, by the way, what I'm talking about is the sort of how my logo swings like that at the beginning. It's a really weird curve, you know, for ScreenFlow. If you've ever used ScreenFlow, you'll know that, you know, there's really no way to do that. So the way that I went about doing that, if we go ahead and we go back here, I'll just go right here, you'll see that I actually made a longer box, okay? And actually you'll also see that as this sort of goes through, if you watch here, the whole thing kind of moves to the left. Honestly, I kind of wish I didn't do that, but I think I did just because I wanted it to have a little bit more, you know, movement or whatever, I guess. But you'll see that it's really long, but that's actually not possible to do in ScreenFlow. You know, you can't stretch the little box, you know, the little box that surrounds this thing. You can't stretch it further out than you know, the actual picture dimensions, which honestly I think really should be which I really think you should be able to do. But you can't. But if you do want to do that, what you need to do is you actually need to make a nested clip. Okay? If you look, you might be able to see under this video action that this is in fact a nested clip. All it is just I double clicked on it there. All it is just my logo and a big, long, completely transparent rectangle. And then I just took those 2 things and I nested them together. And that allows me to basically, you know, stretch the sort of the little bounding box, if you will, I guess. And what that also does is that you see this little pivot, you see this little thing here in the center. See, that's in the very center of this of this little highlighted box, and that is where the pivot point is for any of these rotations over here. You know, if I rotate this, you'll see that that's pivoting on that. So there you go. Obviously, I wanted to have it. I didn't really want to just have it spinning. The logo itself just spinning. On its own axis. I wanted to kind of have it fly at you, sort of fly by like that. So that is how I went about doing that, if that makes sense. You can kind of see what I did there. I just sort of did a 360, or a 180 actually. Yeah, I did a 180 because it says 180 right there. Duh. So there you go. Pretty cool. And I also did a similar thing with this. See where the Zippo flies in. Basically, the Zippo is an elongated box, but in order to accomplish this, all I had to do was put in more spaces after the word Zippos. I just spammed the space bar, if you will, and that worked out. And then, I wanted to be able to have it, kind of the axes return back to the center. So this action right here, this second action, just basically rescales, or basically sort of adjusts the cropping of this, and for some reason that didn't actually crop all the way, but whatever, it didn't really affect anything. Oh no, I know I did that because I was having to play around with it. I actually wanted it to zoom into the O in Zippos, but it just wasn't working. I couldn't get it to do it, so I just decided to make a zoom in between there. So there you go. And how I managed to do the, I'm actually going to go ahead and I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to go ahead and mute this because we don't really need, if I need the sound to be on, then I'll go ahead and do that. But how I went about making, how I went about making sort of this sort of transition right here. That basically, again, nested clips. You can see here we've got two nested clips. If I double click on that, you can see that's that's this nested clip. I've got them sort of like that. Gosh dang it. Boom. Sorry about that little jump cut there. I just got a Facebook notification, and obviously since I'm recording my screen, I don't really want those to pop up, so I just turned off notifications. So as you can see, that's basically all I did. If we go ahead and we get out of this, bink, and we go to the other one, which I think is this one. Yeah, you'll see that it's just the other way around. So there you go. That's sort of how I went about making that. So there you go. So as you can see, that's like that. Now we have another little effect over here. For whatever reason, it just kind of disappears. It was supposed to kind of go, on the other axes, but it just didn't. But it's barely even noticeable, at least in my opinion. So it was supposed to kind of fold in, horizontally, but it didn't work at all. So oh well, that's just the way it is. Now this is the fun part right here, making sort of the Zippo logo zoom in like this. Because the thing is that, and I don't really understand this, but it's really laggy in the editor. You can see that that's really a laggy transition. What I did to do that, by the way, the little zoom effect, man, it's really laggy, like I said. All I did was, again, video action right here. And if you watch, you'll see that I really upped the scale, really did. And you'll also see that, sort of halfway between this, I have technology coming up. And all I did there was I took note right here where, the start of the word technology is. I took note of what angle the word Zippos is currently in. As you can see, it's 41. So I just made this negative 41. That's the word technology right here that I just selected is now negative 41. And, the video action is the same length as this one. So, it's not perfect, at least, in sync. Well, it kind of is. You can see that. It's not perfect, but it looks good. It looks perfect, I guess. When it's playing at full speed like that, it looks perfect, if you will. So there you go. So there you go. Bam. The word Zippo is gone. So as you saw, the word Zippo just disappeared there. Reason why that is so that way it's obviously not laggy to edit. I really don't understand why when you upscale the words so bigly, so much, it makes it hard to edit, but there you go. Now as you can see here, to get the videos flying in here, all I did was I just, just sort of made them all merge in like that. Now you'll see that one of them is a little bit off track. I don't know what was going on with this clip right here. I had the hardest time with it. I think part of it was that I decided that it was originally going to be up here, but I decided to move it down here just because I wanted to have an iPod app video up here, so it'd be, it wouldn't be Mac next to Mac, I guess, if you know what I mean. This is my MacBook Pro unboxing right here, and this is just literally the clip that's over here, right here. I just, because I didn't really want to download that MP4 file because it would take a while, because they're typically big files, I just recorded a quick screen recording, of me opening Safari and use that. So that's actually not part of an official video. That's one that I just recorded off the cuff. But this is an old unboxing of my Apple remote, and this is an app review of Pew Pew, as you can see. So there we go. You can kind of see right here that I wanted them to kind of fade out sort of in a clockwise order. I mean, they kind of look to fade out simultaneously, but if you really look, you'll see that they're fading out sort of in a clockwise direction. And the way that I have the clips organized, like if I select this one, we're looking at that one, and then I click on this one, suddenly we're over here. So I had to kind of check to see after this one fades out, which one is this one, and then I just kind of click through there, and suddenly it's this one. So then this one is the second shortest, if that makes sense. I have no idea, but you can kind of see what's going on there. And then after that is completely done, then the word technology gets big. Now the word technology doesn't rotate, it just goes straight into that O right there. And you can kind of see here, if you look at the, I don't know why I pointed at the screen. If you look over at the scale here, you'll see that again, I just really upped the scale. So there you go. And then the word other stuff appears. This is the and other stuff right there. Whee! We're off to there. And then to get this little transition effect, all I did was just have the different video clips up here, up here in the same spot, and they just kind of flew in. You can kind of see how that worked. I thought that looked pretty cool. And they don't stay there very long because I wanted to be able to have enough time. Like if I go ahead and turn my sounds, I guess I'm going to go ahead and turn my sound back on. You'll hear that this, it's going to play through the next sort of bit, I guess. What I used sort of as reference points to determine when I should transition to the next section of my intro, I guess I should say, was, I'll actually zoom it up here so you can kind of hear the note I was listening to. This right here, listen. Hear that initial drum beat? And then here it comes again. You see kind of where it goes, or when that little sort of tune, I guess, loops itself, if you know what I mean. That is when I decided to start transitioning to the next part. But what I decided to do with this part up here is that, you see, I wanted to get this effect. I'm going to again mute, where it zooms out. I have to play this frame by frame, otherwise it's really laggy. And it sort of zooms out like that. Oop. We just kind of sort of overshot like that. I wanted to get that. And that plays sort of before that little loop. So that's why that's a little bit shorter, if that makes sense. I don't know if I'm making sense at all or not, but all I'm trying to do here is just give you guys a rough sort of demonstration as to how I did this, because, I felt like I learned a few things, some sort of tips and tricks about ScreenFlow. And then, so, sort of all I did to, by the way, get these, the little zooming out effect, as you can see, everything, this first part here, when that's zooming out, all I did was, this, the and other stuff text here is, again, I don't know why I'm like pointing at the screen, because y'all can't see the screen. Or you can't see me doing the screen pointing, I guess. You can see that all I did was the and other stuff is just going down to basically oblivion. It's just scaled down to 0. All right, and what what the little video clips are doing is they're going to position 0, 0, and they are being scaled down to 0. So basically, they just go again off into oblivion. So that's kind of what that is, as you can kind of see if you look over, at this pane here. You'll kind of see that sort of happening. Bam, there you go. It's gone. And then I did the same thing for the word technology. But for whatever reason, what I was doing, what I wanted to do, to kind of get this effect going was that after I was done, messing, with this text here, like this right here, I would take and I would sort of pull this out like this. Let me just do it. I took and I'd pull this out. That's the wrong thing. It's really kind of finicky. Yeah, right there. And then what I'd do is I'd come up here and I would do a T and that would cut right there. And then I just drag this to the end of the video. For whatever reason, ScreenFlow does not like that, and it will not let you save when you do that. It worked the first time, but the second time it didn't. So I actually had to just make completely new text boxes that had the exact same properties and the exact same text that the other ones had. The only exception to that is Zippo, because the Zippo box was kind of being scaled. So it actually doesn't start right in the same spot, but I figured it would make, it'd be a good enough effect anyways. You'll kind of see that, woo, a little bit of a speedy thing. Like it kind of starts in a different spot, but whatever, it looks good. Well, it kind of does. I mean, well, it starts in between the P's, but when it zooms in the first time, it actually zooms in between the P and the O right here. So there you go. All right, now I get to the fun part, the part that I had a lot of fun with. My logo coming in, doing that, bam. That was actually pretty easy to do. This is not a nested clip. If I double click on this, it's just going to bring up the clip inspector. It's not nested. What I did first, to get you can see here that I have 3 different things, as you can see. So first of all, you'll see this where it's rolling in, and then suddenly my YouTube URL is appearing like that. So the way I went about doing that, you can kind of see here we got another video action. If you just watch, you'll see that it's just sort of what it was is that it started off basically as what is basically like a little tiny line. You can see that all I did was I adjusted the cropping, and then the cropping sort of adjusts itself all while it's behind the. I guess you can see what I was trying to do right here. All right, you see that, and yeah, that right there, I guess. And then it hits my logo up here hits the edge of this. You can kind of see how I kept it rotating. Initially, how I got it spinning was that the initial Z rotation here was 500 degrees. All right, so then it sort of looks like it's rolling. All right, and that actually really looks like it's rolling. I'm actually a little bit amazed as to how accurate that looks, like how accurate of a rotation speed that is for what it's moving at. And then it hits there. Then we move on to the next one, and it's rotating. Actually, kind of changed directions there. Oops, I didn't actually notice that. But it's then sort of rotating again like that, up to 500 degrees. So then it kind of rotated back to 500 degrees. Although I guess I should have kept that, at, made it rotate negative 500, but I didn't. I wasn't thinking. And then, where it sort of zooms in like this, like that, you can just kind of see that I continued it to 720 degrees. So that would appear straight. And I also adjusted the positioning, as you can see, of my URL. So that way everything is in the center. And there you go. Then at the end it'll sort of fly out at you, which basically is just sort of upscaling it and rotating it at the same time. So there you go. You'll also see that I have an ending transition there. So there you go. That is how I went about making my little intro. So sweet. There you go. That is how I did that. Let's see. How long have I been recording? 20 minutes. Not that bad. So yeah, let me know what you guys thought of this particular video, if you learned anything. Obviously, we had a little bit of an issue here with this intro. This intro is the resolution of my computer screen. And my computer screen, the box, the box that this thing comes in advertises this as being an LED widescreen notebook, but it's not 16 by 9. I really don't know what this aspect ratio is. It is the resolution here. I guess I'll just go ahead and pull it up. It's 1680 by 1050. I don't know if it'll tell us anything about the aspect ratio here. But you can see here 1680 by 1050. So I guess if I wanted to, I would just play that for you, but I'm not going to do that because it's in there. Let's go to right here. See, what is this? No, it's 1050. I think it's like 1680. Correct. 165. What is that? I'll that version. But that is, the fraction that results of that is going to show you the aspect ratio of my screen, which is not a standard video aspect ratio. For most people who are, if you're watching this on a semi-modern, on even a halfway modern notebook, that sort of has a wide screen, if you will. It's not like a 4x3. It's more of a wide screen-ish notebook. It's going to be, this video is going to take up your entire screen and fill it up perfectly. But if you're watching this, maybe, I know that the 11-inch MacBook Airs actually do have a proper 16 by 9 screen, or something very close to that. And, that's sort of the oddball resolution, if you will. So maybe this is a 4x3. I don't know what this is, but, it's, there's I don't know how to explain it, guys. You get the idea. Yeah, but, if you're watching this like on your television, you're probably going to get some black bars because it's just not the right. So, but, for most pretty much all modern computers, unless if it is like, your monitor is actually a true widescreen monitor, this is going to take up your entire screen, but that's not a official thing. But what I'm trying to get at here is that this entire intro, I really don't know why it took so long to explain this. My entire intro is actually the same exact resolution as my display. As you can see right here, it's the same exact dimensions. So I need to make 2 more versions of this. I need to make a proper 16 by 9 for, if I should ever get like an HD camera that shoots like that, which hopefully I will someday. And I also need to make a 4x3, or the sort of box shape. I need to do that, and I think that'll only require me just sort of moving the clips around a little bit and resizing the entire canvas. I want to keep it at this HD so that way it looks, so that way when I do go about compressing it, it won't compress too badly. But you guys know what I mean. So guys, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to end this video here. That was just sort of a behind the scenes, I guess, sort of about how I went about making my intro. So yeah, and what I did to export it, my settings. What I wanted to preview it, because like I said, those text transitions where they're zooming in and rotating and all that stuff, to move on to the next sort of section, those are really laggy in the editor. So what I did to actually preview that is I just did it at the web high setting, but I kept everything at the default. I kept it at 50% scale and at a 1200 bitrate, because all I was interested in was previewing it, and that took less than a minute to export, and then I just watched the file that appeared on my desktop, and then I know what it looked like. But for the official copy, I did it at lossless, and you can see I scaled it at 100%, and I think I just left all this stuff here alone. So there you go. That is that. So guys, that is going to do it for this video. Thank you all for watching. I am going to go ahead and start editing this and to get back to watching Shark Week, I guess. It's a little bit overcast today. It hasn't rained yet. It's apparently oh no, it is raining. As I say that, it is raining. It's raining right now as we speak. So guys, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to end this video here. Thank you all for watching, and adios. Command Shift 2.